Good Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Alicia Lewis. Happening right now in St. Paul, city crews are clearing out the city's largest homeless encampment. It's sparking pushback at Pig's Eye Park from members of the community. Some of the 100 people there started moving out last night ahead of this morning's clearing. The city wants to clear things out after reports of physical confrontations and sexual assaults. Officials describe the encampment as a public safety hazard. We spoke with a community organizer and someone living in the encampment.
There's a lot of chaos and confusion. People don't know where they're going to end up. There's not beds in the shelters for all of these people, so they're trying to find new places to camp and move. It's just they're kind of moving them down the road without addressing any issues, and all that's really being accomplished is fear and chaos and trepidation.
People have transitioned from the streets and they always come back. You know, lives are being impacted out here, and it's very important that people know that we've come a long way in this particular camp.
City leaders assure that transportation will be available for anyone who accepts shelter, and they tell us that enforcement will only be used as a last resort for people who refuse to leave. Some people and their pets already did so on Tuesday as they prepare for the city to begin clearing this homeless encampment, the largest one in St. Paul. And one of the people living there told Araya Katene that he's planning to move to another nearby encampment until that site is eventually cleared as well. He says overcrowded shelters can lead to physical confrontations, and many don't have enough room for people's belongings. But City Council President Rebecca Necker says that she's been assured there is enough indoor space for anyone who wants it, though the city has not provided a specific number of available shelter beds. She adds that outreach teams have been working with people living in St. Paul for weeks now, connecting them with shelter options and other services ahead of today's closure.
We cannot clear-cut encampments. We have to treat every human being within them with the dignity that they deserve, and use an encampment as a moment to try to figure out what we can do to help each individual person within the encampment, which is going to be different from person to person.
And in a statement, Mayor Kare said that conditions there have been become too dangerous, and we cannot accept that as the status quo. The closure will hopefully allow them to address those conditions. Other news headlines this morning: fire officials will give an update to Governor Walz on the wildfires that are burning up north. According to new numbers this morning, fire crews are actually losing ground on one of the largest wildfires in northern Minnesota. Superior National Forest officials said yesterday containment of the campfire actually dropped from 69 to 65%, and today it's dropped down to 64%. That's according to new wildfire data. Officials, though, also say containment of other fires are holding steady. Luckily, fire crews tell us that the rain and the cooler temperatures have been helping them. In total, the fires have burned nearly 70,000 acres, which, to give you context, is an area the size of 217 state fairs. Well, a year after considering the idea, Immigration and Customs Enforcement signed a deal to reopen a long-closed Minnesota prison. The Prairie Correctional Facility is located in Appleton, which is about 3 hours west of the Twin Cities. It closed in 2010 and can house 1,600 people. The 5-year contract with the prison owner, Core Civic, starts in less than a week, and it will start housing detainees by October. It expects to generate $75 million a year, and economics is one reason some locals there have said they support the prison reopening. Others in town, though, protest every week, concerned about inadequate medical care and unsanitary conditions.
I want to make sure that there is accountability so that people are safe inside and taken care of and given all of the rights that they deserve.
I was like, great. You know, it's something new. When you bring people to town, you bring money. And let's hope everything works.
And we have reached out to ICE officials for comment about this new contract, and we have not heard back. Right now, the Minnesota Health Department is investigating a Salmonella outbreak linked to jalapenos in Minnesota. Several Chipotle restaurants have pulled them off their menus. MDH has confirmed 110 cases in the state since mid-June. Most of those patients said they ate at Chipotle. Others said they ate at other Mexican-style quick-service restaurants. Health leaders don't know if the outbreak is still ongoing. Chipotle is cooperating with the investigation and tracing back where the jalapeno peppers came from. The FDA is also investigating. Right now, a teenager is fighting for his life after falling 20 stories in an abandoned grain elevator in Minneapolis on Monday night. This is video of where he fell at the old checkerboard grain elevator along Highway 55. Police now say the teen and 5 others were trespassing and making an urban exploring video. Neighbors tell us that teens break in there almost daily and post videos of it online. They hope this tragedy puts a spotlight on how dangerous urban exploring can be.
Something terrible was going to happen. It's happened before and it'll happen again as long as this issue continues.
Police say urban exploring has been an issue for years now, but it's becoming more popular. A spokesperson says they received around 80 complaints last year, and so far this year they have over 100 complaints. Well, today the race for governor is heating up. Candidates will head to Farmfest today, hoping to win over farmers with less than a week until the primary. State and national leaders have been making stops at Farmfest all week, including U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. She talked to farmers about the financial challenges they're facing because of the war in Iran.
The one thing that remains constant is how input prices are killing your bottom line, how we've got to get the cost of fertilizer, the cost of equipment, the cost of labor, the cost of seed, the cost of interest rates, the cost of property. We've got to start reversing that trajectory and that trend.
She also announced 2 new changes from the USDA. Producers now have 60 extra days to pay crop insurance premiums. Farmers can also get 5% extra cash if bad weather stops them from planting. New details this morning in the war in Iran. Officials say the U.S. military has burned through 80% of its critical missile interceptors since the start of the war. Meanwhile, President Trump says the Strait of Hormuz will open as soon as today, or he'll launch a new attack on Iran. The president says the U.S. is having good discussions with Iran. However, officials there say no direct talks have happened. Well, back here at home, Mike Lindell says he's going to step down as CEO of MyPillow to focus on his bid for governor. In a post on Facebook, the Republican candidate says he'll stay on the board and hold a minority stake in the company. MyPillow's former president will be in charge of day-to-day operations. Now, Lindell is one of the leading Republican candidates after securing an endorsement from President Donald Trump last month. Kendall Qualls and House Speaker Lisa Damith are also vying for the nomination. The primary is next Tuesday. Well, just 90 days before the midterm elections, the Senate race in Michigan is the big topic. The Democratic winner setting the tone for the future of the party. And 4 other states held primary elections on everything from congressional seats to the governor. NBC's Chris Pallone has details from Washington.
Control of Congress, of course, the big prize this fall. Republicans hoping to maintain majorities in both chambers to continue enacting President Trump's agenda. Democrats trying to capitalize on the president's low approval ratings to take back the House and perhaps even the Senate to slow down the MAGA movement. This morning, a big win for Democratic Party progressives in a key battleground state. NBC News projecting Michigan Democrats chose Abdul El-Sayed to be their nominee for Senate over the establishment favorite, Representative Haley Stevens. The epidemiologist campaigned with prominent far-left Democrats, running on a platform of providing Medicare for all and abolishing ICE.
We can't control the past 250 years. What we can do is build the next 250.
The race closely watched by Republicans as they try to snatch an open Senate seat now held by a Democrat. President Trump commenting to reporters before the race was called.
I have not found out who won the election tonight with Abdul. Who won?
It looks like it's going to go, it'll be a long night.
Oh, really? Ooh, that's interesting.
Progressives are also claiming victory in a key Michigan House primary, with activist William Lawrence defeating 2 Democratic challengers. And in Missouri, incumbent Representative Wesley Bell beat back a challenge from former Congresswoman Cori Bush in a race largely contested over support for Israel.
We can disagree over here, but we can still do the work. We can disagree over there, but we can still do the work. Because progressives are supposed to make progress.
For Republicans, aligning with President Trump continues to be a good strategy.
I can't go without thanking President Trump. He's so fun.
Trump-backed State Senator Ty Masterson will try to win back the Kansas governor's office for Republicans this fall after defeating 6 other candidates. To retake the House, Democrats need to add 3 seats this fall, and to take back the Senate as well, Democrats would need to pick up 4 seats there, which would be extremely difficult if they don't win that Michigan seat held now by retiring Senator Gary Peters. In Washington, Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Should be interesting. Well, Target field workers say they're hitting the picket line again, this time during singer Noah Kahan's sold-out show. Unite Here Local 17 says they're fighting for better wages and health care for concession workers with Delaware North. The union and the company have been in negotiations since March. Delaware North says tonight's show will be fully staffed. And hey, stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.